Hello folks, it's Adrian Cox here, on the road in recovery. I hope you're all well. My apologies for not posting a video sooner. I was going to do one on Sunday. I'll tell you what, the last, for those of you who've watched the last episode of the last video that I did, so I better do up a shirt, exposing myself a bit. The last video that I did, I was telling you what I had coming up, which was a flight coming. I played in Manchester. I was going to sleep, then I was going to Manchester Airport, flying down. I had when I got back to London, everything was delayed. And then I got to my live stream gig that I had to do. I did that. Then I had to go to Ronnie Scott's. Did the concert there, and then the next day I was mixing. And I'll tell you what. And then I had a gig on the Monday evening, which I went to, and then Tuesday I had to go to Swindon, and then I did a gig in the evening in Swindon. And then this morning I woke up and I forgot that I had a haircut booked. So then I had to get over, have a haircut. Then I had another gig this afternoon. And now I've had to pop back to my mum and dad's house down in Burgess Hill near Brighton. So I'll tell you what, I'm absolutely shattered. I can't begin to explain how tired I am. And it's that kind of thing where all you need is a day doing nothing and you'll be okay, And I suppose it's things that in the past, it would be things like drinking or using things that would get you through it, because you'd go, right, how am I going to get through this? Oh, it's all right, I'll have a drink. And then but I've got so much going on. And in the band, we've got people who are down who've got, who've caught coronavirus, so they can't be on tour. So I'm having to find deputies for the band to do that, so we can carry on the tour, so we can do this. Other people who are booked now can't do it. So it's been a whole thing of stress for the last days. So I apologise that I haven't done a video. I want to say thank you to everybody who's started following. It's over 320 people now, so that's really great. Thank you. There's a lot of people. I've had lots and lots of messages, and I'm going to touch on a few of the things that people have asked me. And someone said, what do I think about non-alcoholic beers, right, as a thing to do? So someone warned me of non-alcoholic beers. There's different ways that people look at it. They say, oh, well, if you're, a lot of people will say, well, don't go to a wet place, don't go to a pub, don't do this. Well, that's one way of making life easier for yourself. If you're struggling to not have a drink, don't put yourself in a situation where there is drink around you, which does make sense. And I think that's fair enough. For myself, obviously, as a musician, you find yourself in bars, clubs, music venues, and there's drink around you all the time. So for me, I've had to sort of get my head around it of that, right, well, I'm going to be around it. I'm going to have to deal with it. When I stopped drinking, as I said, I had to have a hip replacement. So after I'd had the hip replacement, I was indoors for 3 months. Well, I was doing the physio and stuff like that. So I wasn't really out and going around. So therefore, I suppose it was slightly easier for me in a way. I don't think it was easier having a hip replacement. It's quite weird because I always say, oh yeah, well, I'm lucky that I'm lucky that I stopped in time before the booze really got to me, in the way of did me any real damage. But people go, well, you still had a hip replacement. And I would go, yeah, but at least the liver's functioning still, that kind of thing. So at that first period, I never ever thought about, oh, I'll have a non-alcoholic beer, because I was like, oh, well, what's the point? If it's not going to get you drunk, there's no point drinking it. There's no doing this. And to be honest, when I was drinking, I wasn't someone I wasn't like, oh God, I love the taste of that. Oh, I love the taste of this drink. Guinness is what I drank a lot of the time. I'd drink 15 to 20 pints of Guinness. But the first one was always a struggle to get down. It would be 2 gulps, a pint of Guinness. It would be like, But did I go straight onto non-alcoholic beers? No, I didn't. And I'm really pleased that I didn't, because sometimes people go, oh, it's so easy to slip into the whole thing of you're doing that. The reason I have them now, it's like, for example, I've met up with a friend this evening, and I had a couple of non-alcoholic beers. But I didn't feel like, oh, I really want the non-alcoholic beers. When I got there, I had a half. Like they had one on tap, and I said, oh, I just have a half, because I wasn't really thinking about that. But actually, I didn't have many of them because I don't really enjoy it. So, but non-alcoholic beers. So on gigs that I do, they'll always have non-alcoholic beers backstage for me. So it just, for me, really, if I have one, it just stops people talking, because if you're holding a green bottle in your hand, no one's really gonna say, oh, why are you drinking that, what are you doing, it just sort of almost makes it normalized, which I don't agree with in a way, because I feel like everyone should just be able to do whatever they want. If you want to, I don't go up to someone and go, oh, you're drinking a pint of Guinness, oh, you're having a can of Stella. So I would like to think that people would treat me the same, and not even question what I'm drinking. So in answer to the question of, do I think non-alcoholic beers are a good thing? Personally, I think if you like the taste of having a beer, I think, well, then have a non-alcoholic beer. Look for the ones that are 0.0. They're, but I mean, I was never someone who wanted to drink something with a meal. I wasn't like, oh, I'd love a red wine with a meal. No, I like a bottle of red wine, or red wine and Coca-Cola. That would be the kind of thing I drink. So I think in ways I was quite lucky that I'm not someone who's like, oh yeah, lovely whiskey. Love it. I was a total drinking to get pissed. That's what it was really. So, I would think if I'm going to have dinner, I'd like to have a nice pint of Ribena or something. So yeah, non-alcoholic beers, I think they can be really useful if you like. I don't know how helpful this is, but if you like the taste of having a beer and you feel like you're really missing out, then have a non-alcoholic beer. But I don't think, I think if you're someone who's really, really struggling and going, oh my God, I'm missing booze so much, you're probably best off not going to the pub to have a non-alcoholic beer, because you're always just going to feel like you're there missing out on what everyone else is happening. But to be honest, you're not really, I know that you can have a good time, you can do that, but if you're of an alcoholic or addictions in that nature, you can end up, that's dangerous for you, and you can have a good time, of course I had some great times, and I don't regret anything that I've ever done, but there's an interesting thing that people, I think I said it before, I've never met anyone who's got sober who's regretted it, and so that's something important to remember. And the whole thing, I don't care now if I walk in a pub, I generally have a lime and soda, or or a tonic water or something like that, so non-alcoholic beers is a kind of, well, if you like the taste of a beer, get one. If you don't want to be asked questions as to why you're not drinking, then question who your friends are. No, but honestly, people do find it, often when people ask the question, oh, are you not drinking? Why are you not drinking? And that's the thing, drinking is so normalised. It's like, right, where should we meet? Should we meet in the pub? Should we meet in a restaurant? Oh, should we get a bottle of wine? Shall we go here? You stop at a garage, you can buy booze. You go, everywhere you go, you can get it. So, but once you can get over that stigma of being in the pub and being expected to have a beer, I think there is a massive thing about that, which is sad, really, because it shows what society's like. Yeah, but I think I've become more strong-willed now, and I have such a good friendship group that people who know me, and I think that when I meet new people and they don't understand, it's like, all right, I have this, and they're like, all right, don't you drink? No, I don't drink. It's like, I'm proud that I don't drink. I'm pleased that I don't drink. There's bits of me that, I don't regret any of the past. So but if you find a non-alcoholic beer does help you, then I think, use it for whatever, use it for your effect. But if you're using it because you really, really, really miss, like, drinking and, someone said, don't put yourself in wet places, so that's a thing. But, anyway, folks, I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to have a bit of a sleep. But I hope that's answered a bit of the question on my thoughts on non-alcoholic beer things. There's been lots and lots of questions, so I'm going to try and answer them. I'm off to Worcester tomorrow. We're playing at a festival there, so I've got another early start tomorrow. Got a crazy weekend, but I'll keep in touch a hell of a lot more than I have over the last 3 days. All right, folks, take care. All right, see you in a bit. Bye bye.